What up, what up, what up, y'all, man? Welcome back to the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, the weekly sports recap. Of course, I'm the real Cigar Jeff. Thank y'all for tuning in. We've had a week full of headlines, some surprising, some emotional, and some just remind us why we love sports in the first place. But this show is more than just about the scores. It's about how these stories connect to us, our family, and our community, man. Because I can tell you this week, I was on an emotional roller coaster with this week in sports, man. Let's talk about this together. And while you're here, man, subscribe and join the family. We're building a space where we can process these moments, guys, side by side. It was a couple stories, and I'm going to try not to hold you guys long. I hope one of these stories spoke to you this week, and y'all get down in the comments and let me know. The first one, Molly Qerim is no longer with First Take. And Stephen A's response really went ahead and took all the wind out of that story. Guys, if y'all saw it, man, Molly Qerim released a statement that she was no longer going to be on First Take. Her contract was up at the end of the year. But man, y'all know the sad part is Molly Qerim, nobody's going to miss her. Molly Qerim thought she became the show. And while Molly Qerim is a beautiful girl, I think she doesn't realize that the more beautiful she is, and when she makes a statement, she better make sure she's on the right take for that statement and not interrupting anybody or not trying to be a panelist instead of sticking to her role as a host. A lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I think this is way overdue. And let me tell y'all when they should have got rid of Molly Qerim. They should have got rid of Molly Qerim when she and Jalen Rose were done. Because the only reason she had credibility at ESPN because she was rocking with Jalen Rose. Stephen A kept her after Jalen Rose got let go from ESPN, and that was the mistake. And I don't hear nobody else saying this take. Without Jalen Rose, nobody cares about Molly Qerim. He gave her that street cred, and then she just started going crazy with her takes and interruptions. Tried to bring on that social justice stuff to First Take. Stephen A wasn't having it. So Molly Qerim value started dropping the moment Jalen Rose was no longer at ESPN. She's an attractive woman. But at the end of the day, the more attractive you are, and I don't want to hear from you, now you just become annoying more than becoming a benefit to the show. And I think Stephen A carried her as much as he could. But then I got to tell y'all what else really happened that nobody's talking about. Stephen A's contract is making it so nobody can get paid. But if I'm next to Stephen A, I want some money too. But y'all know Stephen A is just like, no, in order for Stephen A to get his $100 million, everybody else got to take scraps. Because at the end of the day, Molly Qerim, what is she going to do? Go to another channel or start a YouTube channel? Do y'all realize Stephen A, since he got that $100 million deal, can't nobody stay on that show outside of Mad Dog Russo? Right? At the end of the day, Shannon Sharp gone. They bought Cam Newton back. But Stephen A is going to make sure that Stephen A is the star of the show. So if you're next to Stephen A, just make sure you're not banking on First Take. Because Stephen A is watching all these people fall off and ain't stopping it. Why? Because in order to protect his $100 million, in order to protect his $100 million, Stephen A got to make sure nobody else climbs the ladder. Do y'all hear what he says all the time? And I ain't mad at him. It's a different take than me. He said, my job is to get up and make my boss's money, and then I get some of it. So if you want to be on First Take, and I would encourage everybody, if you want to go on First Take, don't go on First Take because you're going to make money. Because Stephen A is going to make money for his bosses, and then the bosses give him some. He didn't say he was going to make sure everybody around him got some. Be careful when you hear people say that, because he's letting you know what it is. So I'm a Stephen A fan. I applaud everything that man has built. He's probably going to be the next late show host to take over from Jimmy Kimmel. Stephen A is on his way up. Stephen A ain't put nobody else under him. Go look at what Shannon Sharp has done. Right? All the people who got that Shannon Sharp logo or who had it on their podcast. Go look at what people like Colin Cowherd has done. Go look at what somebody... Stephen A don't have nobody under him yet. And y'all remember when he said he wanted to build his own media company and all that? Why doesn't Stephen A have nobody under him yet? Or at least if he does, I'm not seeing it under the Straight Shooter brand or under the Stephen A. Smith show. I think Stephen A can build Stephen A, but I think Stephen A's problem is Stephen A can't promote nobody else because Stephen A is protecting his boss. And his boss is telling him what to do. And if you're around Stephen A thinking you're going to get money in Stephen A's orbit now, no, all that money comes to Stephen A. Stephen A wanted Molly to get paid. Stephen A could have adjusted the budget so that Molly could get paid. But what did he come out there and say? Your value is tied with the people that people are paying. Thinks your value is. And he's right. But if he wanted Molly to stay, Stephen A is the kingmaker at ESPN. Nothing happens at ESPN without Stephen A knowing. And when people get fired, he come out there and say, these are my bosses. I don't say nothing. No, those bosses are consulting with you every step of the way. Molly Qerim tried to negotiate, but she overplayed her hand. Just because you pretty don't mean you popular. Just because you pretty don't mean you profitable. And guess what? Ain't nobody watching First Take for Molly, because Molly gonna have to learn just like the rest of us. When you go on YouTube and when you start your podcast, you gonna see how many people actually rock with you. Stephen A can do that for himself, and he is doing it for himself. His platforms are growing. He's everywhere. Molly didn't grow with him. They just wanted the gravy and the table scraps, hoping that being next to Stephen A is just as valuable as being Stephen A. You don't get what Stephen A got by having osmosis, right? It don't come by osmosis. It come by doing the same thing he's doing. And Molly didn't do that. She wanted to debate Stephen A instead of being like Stephen A. And that's why she's no longer at First Take, guys. Stephen A is the face, right? And he's going to keep it that way. Stephen A is not going to give up this shine to anybody else, okay? It reminds us that at any team or family, balance matters. But if you're trying to grow and trying to make money, do not go to First Take. Do not link up with Stephen A. Smith, because he's told you what his goal is. His bosses is his goal, and he wants some of that money. So unless you think like that, don't go link up with Stephen A. Smith, because it's not going to last. And when something comes up, he's proven not to back you up with the bosses, because these bosses are not making a move without consulting with Stephen A. first. Why? Because Stephen A. is who gives the bosses credibility. People communicate to Stephen A. Takes it to the bosses. The bosses communicate with Stephen A. Brings it back to the people. So Stephen A. is the conduit at ESPN. And that's why Molly Qerim is not on First Take, because Stephen A. didn't want him there. Michael Irvin is not on First Take. Stephen A. didn't want him there. Shannon Sharp is not on First Take. Stephen A. didn't want him there. Why? Because anything that comes up controversial, Stephen A.'s got to protect that $100 million before he protects you. And I ain't mad at it, right? So let's get there, guys. What do y'all think, man, would be the right first balance, or the right balance to the First Take now? Who do y'all think should take over for Molly? Honestly, I think they should just do what they're doing. Let Stephen A. be the host. It's his show anyway. We don't need a figurehead up there. But I think we need to go back and start looking at the fact that we need somebody we don't know, so that they don't become a distraction like Molly did. I'd love to hear your thoughts, man, on what comes to mind with that. Now, my number 2 story. Rumor has it that Shedeur Sanders told the Ravens and the Eagles that he didn't want them to draft him because he didn't want to back up Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Once again, guys, another story that comes out and hurts Shedeur Sanders. And y'all know I'm pro Dion over here. I'm pro Shedeur Sanders. I'm pro Shiloh Sanders. I'm a big fan of the Sanders family and what they represent. But once again, this is another story on why people don't want Shedeur. Guys, the only reason I think Shedeur should have taken that deal is that both of those teams have shown they can develop black quarterbacks and get them max deals. Say what you want to say, and I hope this doesn't come across as offensive, but the black quarterback is different. I'm not saying different in mental capacity or anything like that, but understanding a black quarterback and developing them to get the max deals, everybody can't do that. And here's why I would tell Shedeur to go to Baltimore, go to Philly instead of going to Cleveland. Look at what's happening to him in Cleveland, where he thought he had a chance to start because of what was happening there. No, they don't like you, right? But if you would have gone to Philly or Baltimore, here's what I know going to happen, because it happened every year. Jalen Hurts going to get hurt, and Lamar Jackson going to get hurt just because of the way they play the game. Shedeur is a white quarterback in a black body. Pocket passer, all that kind of stuff. Focuses on accuracy, goes through his reads. Why didn't he take that deal? At that time, Brady, you in the 5th round. Don't nobody see you as a starter. So now you got to start building. What's my process? Philly and Baltimore going to be on TV every week, going to be in the news every week. We know Lamar Jackson going to get hurt. We know Jalen Hurts going to get hurt. Shedeur would have at least had opportunities. If Shedeur doesn't hurry up and get some playing time in Cleveland, he's going to be a has-been. We watched what happened with Shiloh getting cut. And thank God Shiloh has his YouTube, his Twitch streaming and all this kind of stuff, so he's still staying relevant. But let's talk about Shedeur, guys. Shedeur's plan was to be the top draft pick, and that didn't happen. So what's his backup plan? His backup plan right now is I don't see people reaching for him. We know Brock Purdy is hurt. We know Jaden Daniels is hurt. We seeing these Teams. Tua's playing like crap. These teams who should bring in a quarterback like Shedeur to help either replace the starter while they're out or either force the starter to get better. We ain't seeing no movement, guys. Shedeur made a mistake by not being and learning what it would take as a black quarterback to become a max deal guy. It ain't about playing once you get to the 5th round. It's about who can I learn from so that I can change my image. Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts could have done that for you. And you learn how a system can work for a black quarterback like yourself. And now you take that and learn on that practice squad and win that. And when you get traded or get your opportunity, take advantage of it, right? I get that you didn't want to go behind, like Cam Newton said, but I think this is another problem with the decision making of Shedeur Sanders. You go where you celebrate it, not where you tolerate it. It doesn't matter who's in front of you. Dion talks about that on the Well-Off Media videos. Everything is competition. If Shedeur would have come in with that same mentality, he at least would have been QB2. He would have been QB2 versus starting off at QB5. And thankfully, Kenny Pickett got shipped out of there. And thankfully, Joe Flacco is playing like crap, but Kevin Stefanski still wants Dylan Gabriel, right? So you got Deshaun Watson coming back. All these things are happening, guys, and Shedeur made a bad decision. And I bet he's regretting it now. Go to a team that can build a black quarterback. And that's my take, right? I get Shedeur want to go somewhere and start because he's protecting his brand, but nobody likes the Shedeur brand. People like the Shedeur football player. And at round 5 with Philly or Baltimore, he would have been a football player that people could have developed. Cleveland ain't trying to develop. Cleveland got him over there in the field that ain't nobody looking at. Okay? Don't let him dress on game day and all this kind of stuff. I would rather be QB2 and look like Jameis Winston for the Giants versus what I'm looking like in Cleveland, right? He doesn't want to get lost behind another star. He wants a place where he can build something steady and lasting. It makes sense if you look at it from that angle, but I think it is another bad decision for Shedeur Sanders. Guys, I got a couple more that I want to get into. Tom Brady in the Raiders booth. Guys, I don't even know why this is a story. The NFL loves all this drama that Tom Brady is bringing, but I'm not worried about Tom Brady in the booth. Tom Brady is a good player. Tom Brady will not make a good coach or a good executive. This is the whole point, guys. When you're a good player like that, he's not. I'm not worried about him being in the booth. Why? Tom Brady don't have a New England system and Bill Belichick. Now, I know Tom Brady won without Bill Belichick and without the Bill Belichick system. But Tom Brady not being on the field is what makes Tom Brady human. If we talking about Tom Brady on the field, yeah, we got a problem. But Tom Brady as an announcer and doing work for Fox and being in the booth with the Raiders, I'm not worried about that. What is he going to do to me in a suit? Yeah, you can break it down, but it's still got 11 guys lining up from across each other who want to be like Tom Brady. And I don't see that happening. A lot of these guys are more concerned with a podcast, that old school thinking like Tom Brady has. That's why Tom Brady is struggling right now with the Raiders, because he wants that environment that Bill Belichick put on them in New England. And ain't nobody signing up for that. That's why we ain't worried about Tom Brady in the booth, guys. Are you kidding me? I don't care if he can be in there every week. Ain't no Tom Brady mentality guys out there no more. Ain't no New England in the late 90s, early 2000s out there no more. I ain't worried about Tom Brady and what he's telling you, because the NFL is about execution, not about strategy. I don't care about Spygate. At the end of the day, the the Las Vegas Raiders got to go out there and execute. Your team got to go out there and execute. Tom Brady cannot do anything to help these guys. Tom Brady is good because he was on the field, not because Tom Brady was good at running an organization. Tom Brady got a learning curve to actually be a part of something where he don't have a ball in his hands every snap. You don't control this like you controlled an offense in New England and in Tampa. Why are we worried about that? Let him be in the booth. That adds intrigue. Let other players that go on teams and be analysts be in the booth. It adds intrigue, guys. The best part about the NFL is that what happens in between your ears when you lining up from across each other on the field on Sunday, Thursday, and Monday. Y'all get down the conversation, man. Let me know. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about Tom Brady being in the booth. I think we making a big deal about nothing. I ain't threatened by Tom Brady, the analyst, the owner, or in the coach's booth and going to meetings and thinking he bringing information back from my team to take. I ain't worried about that, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the executive and the professional analyst and all that doesn't bother me at all. Tom Brady has influence on the field. Tom Brady has influence as a player. Tom Brady ain't convincing nobody as a minority owner, ain't convincing nobody as an analyst, and ain't convincing nobody as a coaching in the coaching booth trying to tell them what's going on in the middle of the game. Them coaches got a plan and it's written down and they ain't getting away from it. Ain't nothing Tom Brady can say. So y'all guess what I'm telling you. When people look at Tom Brady now in the booth, them coaches like, dog, Brady, you don't know this. You're a player. When he in the executive room, hey man, you just brand new to this. You know, he gets treated like the rest of us in this new role. That's why I ain't worried about Tom Brady in the booth, right? So y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Okay. Last one I'm gonna talk about, guys. Stefon Diggs and Cardi B just announced that they having a baby. At first I started to celebrate, then I realized if I'm the New England Patriots, I'm cutting Stefon Diggs. Guys, I'm looking at his stats right here. Right now he got 89 yards on the season. He's being talked about more about getting Offset's soon-to-be ex-wife pregnant than being about the business on the field. And I'm telling y'all right now, if I'm the New England Patriots, this is the worst news that you can see. Not only is Stefon Diggs having a bad year, Trayvon Diggs is having a bad year out in Dallas, and y'all know I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Guys, this thing is crazy. When I saw it, I said, oh my God, Offset came on and said, man, you ain't even officially divorced and you popping out a new baby. I saw Cardi B on Joe and Jada's show, man. And I said, this is bad. Guys, if you stop doing the thing that actually made you popular, if you stop being good at that, Cardi B never stopped being good at rapping. As a matter of fact, she just released another album that is fire, right? She ain't lost her focus. Cardi B is staying relevant. But look at what's happening to Stefon Diggs. He don't want to do this. He don't want to do this professional football stuff. He's next to Cardi B, and just like Offset, he gonna lose that edge because in Cardi B's world, this woman takes care of her men, and she lets them know they ain't got nothing to worry about. Stefon Diggs ain't never been trained to be in that position, but in order for him to be good at that position, he's gonna end up messing up the reason why we all know him, which is because he's a hell of a wideout, and we've seen it over and over again. But New England Patriots need to cut him, guys. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I'm a Cardi B fan, I'm a Stefon Diggs fan, but it's over. It's over. Cardi B is going to be the talk, just like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But the difference is Taylor Swift has made Travis Kelce get better at his role. Stefon Diggs is becoming irrelevant, and he don't care because as long as he got Cardi B, because we heard he had another baby. And all of a sudden, now you got another one. And when you start seeing stuff like this, that tells you that's a lack of focus. That's a man being reckless. If I'm New England, I'm going to go ahead and cut him because Cardi B is who his focus is and not football. I think y'all got to get down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about that, man. Right? That's it for this week. That's it for this week, man. Molly leaving ESPN. Shedeur turning the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens down. Brady staying too close to the game, but it really doesn't matter. And again, family beginnings with Stefon Diggs and Cardi B, man. Sports teaches us a lot about life, about change, about loyalty, about family, and about what it means to keep moving forward, even when things don't look the same anymore. Man, if you made it to the end of this video, share this with your family, subscribe, share this with somebody who loves sports like we do, and drop your comments in the section below, man. Which of these stories touch you this week, man? I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you follow me on all the socials, man. Get out there, get a copy of my book, Ashes Between Us, my thoughts on what's happening in the Cigar Lounge. I appreciate all y'all support and getting the channel out there, man. And until next time, guys, we gonna holler.